News, yeah, you as well. Here we go now to Washington. The former House Speaker, leading congressional Democrat Nancy Pelosi, has announced in a video a moment ago that she will not seek re-election. She has represented San Francisco for nearly 40 years. She's 85 years old. The history she has in Washington speaks for itself. She has been a long-range player in the Democratic Party. And news, yeah, you as well.
Well, there you have it, family. So let me break this down so there's absolutely no confusion. Because it's really not that deep. And honestly, I'm sick of acting like this stuff is up for debate. First off, let's celebrate something real quick. Nancy Pelosi stepping down, as you guys heard in the clip. That ain't just news. That's a win for America, period, in my opinion. You got a woman who made millions off the same system she claimed to be fixing. Built her wealth right here in this country off the backs of taxpayers, off her insider trading. Yeah, we ain't stupid. And then turns around and acts like she's Mother Teresa fighting for the poor. Nah, she was a liability straight up, and her leaving is like cutting off dead weight on a sinking ship. And you ever been in a car where the brakes are shot and the wheel pulls hard left every time you drive? Hopefully not, but I'm just speaking metaphorically to get for you guys to get where I'm going with this. That was Nancy Pelosi in Congress. You can love her or hate her, but her time was up, and that's facts. And I believe also you need term limits. There's no way in heck she should be like 40 years, decades in a Congress being a dinosaur, to the point where, you know, it's unacceptable in my opinion. There should be term limits. You should not be able to hog your position to continue to enrich yourself, but making sure that you operate on the best interest of Americans. And if you're not, you need to go. So, like I said, she was a liability straight up. But that was Pelosi in Congress, and that's what it is. But now let's get to the real meat, right? We're going to get to the meat and spit out the bone, because people acting like wanting common sense things in this country makes you some kind of extremist. And I find it very odd.
You know the Democrats are going to do that, and most of you will admit the Democrats are going to do that, so why aren't we doing it? And I think only a foolish person would be against that, especially when you realize that these are crazed people. These people are absolutely crazed, Trump derangement syndrome, whatever it may be. And I am totally in favor of terminating the filibuster, and we would be back to work within 10 minutes after that vote took place, and lots of other good things would happen. And it doesn't make any sense that a Republican would not want to do that.
If they're not going to do that, then it seems like you'd have to make a deal with Democrats to end the shutdown.
Here's some of the things that we'd pass if we terminated the filibuster. Voter ID, no mail-in voting, no cash bail, no men and women's sports, no welfare for illegals. You could go on and on. This is 2 pages of things we'd do if you did that. Without it, I don't know that you passed anything, because you can't deal with them. They're really irrational. They really are. You know that.
Well, there you have it, family. But if you say those things that President Trump just said, our president, you will basically be labeled crazy, bigoted, old-fashioned. I think it's common sense. I mean, we're not stupid. You want examples? Boom. A lot of people believe that men should not be in women's sports, right? Period. Not because they hate people, not because they're scared, but because biology is biology and reality is reality. And you ever seen a 6'4" tall dude who transitioned into a woman, dominated a woman's swim meet by like 40 seconds? That ain't fair. Seem fair to you guys? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's not competition. That's a mismatch. That's like putting a grizzly bear in a dog show and acting surprised when it eats the poodle. And then we got this push where they want biological men in women's locker rooms, bathrooms, changing areas, and women feel endangered. Like, bro, like, we're talking about daughters and wives and sisters. Why is it offensive for women to say, look, women should be protected, that we love, from being uncomfortable and in dangerous situations? And don't hit me with that, oh, that never happens line, because it does happen. And even if it was just one time, that's too many, but that's just common sense. And then they call you crazy for saying We want voter ID. What? You need ID to buy cough syrup, rent a car, buy a house, open a bank account, get a job, fly on a plane, buy alcohol, buy tobacco, even buy certain groceries now. But when it comes to voting, the one thing that decides the future of this entire country, suddenly ID is a problem. Man, just stop it. That ain't about access, it's about control. And they know the more chaotic the system, the easier it is to manipulate. And let's talk about bail reform that President Trump has mentioned, right? They're out here letting violent offenders back on the street before the ink even dries on their mugshot. So now some guy punches a grandma and robs a store or stabs someone and he's back home eating dinner the same night. What planet are we on? And it's like putting a raccoon in your kitchen and being shocked when the trash is on the floor. Like, nah, bro, this is just common sense. Common sense ain't crazy. It's just being drowned out by this twisted version of morality when feelings override facts. And then the kicker is November 5th, which was, the odd year of elections from Jersey and the mayor race in New York, Virginia governor race. The American people made their voice loud and clear. And it wasn't just a win, it was a mandate. Like, yo, enough is enough. They said, we're tired of this circus. We want accountability. We want sanity back. And then right after that, Trump drops a bomb. He basically said, why are we giving hundreds of billions of dollars to bloated, greedy insurance companies just to keep Obamacare on life support? Because I find it very contradicting that the American people who voted, because you got to think about it. This is not a general election, right? These were city elections in deep blue states, which we're not surprised, right? And these deep blue states, and you have in New York, you have now elected a socialist, where young people who doesn't really have everyday bills or responsibilities have seen Zoran Mudami as a way of free handouts. And for individuals who do not handle real life responsibilities, free handouts is everything, right? And if you don't want to take my word for it, just to show you the generation, because these are cities, like I said, this is not a national general election. A woman said about being given a Lamborghini. If I can find it real quick, because I want to show you guys the overall state of these deep blue cities and how they want to they want handouts, but they want to basically, how can I put it? Use their own self-inflicted wounds by their own ignorance. If you pick a basket weaving degree or you incur a lot of debt because you're trying to live a lifestyle to please people that don't care about you. Instead of being accountable for their failures, they would rather the government be responsible for their failures while they continue to do the very ignorant things of their own demise, which they are hurting themselves with their self-inflicted wounds. So they are not the problem, everybody else is. And that was the overall voter base when you had these Democrats in these odd elections in these deep blue cities basically say, oh, we're here to help you, the working class people, make things affordable, give you this, give you that, give you this. And Zoran was the top of the chain, who is now seeming to be the leader of the Democratic Party, basically say, look, we'll give you free everything. And now New York is about to find out very quickly. Now I'm looking for this video in regards of why this is the overall sentiment of the voters that took place. And in their heads, they believe that they believe in their heads, like I said, and in power in the Democratic Party, that their voice was loud and clear. And it just wasn't a it was mandatory, free hands outs. But like I said, yo, enough is enough. Check this out.
I'm voting Mamdani
And why?
because he's the most obvious choice.
What makes him an obvious choice for you?
It's just like, I'm trying to think. This reminds me of a certain comedy sketch where the comedian was like, we could either vote in one guy and he's gonna give everybody free houses, free rent, and he's gonna give everybody a Lamborghini, or we could vote in somebody who's gonna burn down the city. That's why I'm voting Mamdani, because I'm voting for the guy who give me the Lamborghini.
Yeah, so you think Mamdani's like just gonna give you guys everything?
Not everything. I'm saying it's the most obvious choice.
What do you think is gonna happen with government-run grocery stores and free buses? Do you think that sounds like a good idea?
That does sound like a good idea.
And freezing the rent?
That does sound like a good idea.
What if they have to freeze the rent to the point where eventually then the landlord's not able to come in and fix the washer and make a profit on his own lease?
That's their problem.
You heard her? That's their problem. She doesn't care. But what happens when things become your problem based on your actions? Then you'll be crying wolf and saying it's everybody else's fault. My point exactly. So what I'm saying is, family, Trump dropped a bomb now in response to all of that because the Democrats feel empowered. They won, and they basically weaponized the election by egging on and holding Americans hostage, which is government shutdown, because their tactic was to blame Trump for the shutdown. But if you really know how the filibuster works, which is AKA the 60 vote count, where you need both parties to chip in, and even if the Republicans have majority of the seats, they still need 7 votes to reach the 60. That's just how it works, right? That's just how government works, legislative branch for you, right? So when you look at that, Trump dropped the bomb. He basically said, why are we giving hundreds of billions of dollars to bloated, greedy insurance companies just to keep Obamacare and life support? So if you think about that, think about it like this. I'll give you an example. If you got a car that breaks down every week and costs more to repair than it's worth, at some point you stop fixing it. You trade it in, you start fresh, and that's what Trump was saying. Stop pouring taxpayer money into a system that doesn't work and give it directly to the people so they could choose better health care for themselves. But nah, the Democrats, or as the hypocrites, we can call them, they want to keep feeding the same insurance monsters that have been robbing American people blind since 2010. Want to know how you know it's all a scam? Look at the stock prices. Look at the stock prices. Insurance giants of those insurance giants from 2010 to 2025. Look at it. Look at the chart. United Health Group, right here. You guys see on the screen. Cigna, all of them, 1,000% increases in value. You think that's because they are helping people? No. They just found a way to get fat off of government cash while premiums keep rising and coverage keeps getting worse. Obamacare didn't lower costs. It didn't help the average American. It just turned the middle class into a walking ATM machine for insurance executives. And mind you, the coverage they give you, they control, and they put certain restrictions on it where you end up having to pay anyway, is what I'm saying, and the premiums are higher. So even if you're covered for certain things, let's say you have to see a specialist, who's to say that you won't have to pay copays that continue to keep increasing due to the premiums, right? So it doesn't help the average American. And when Republicans try to shut down the mess, who gets blamed, right? Schumer flips the script like it's some big compromise. He says, oh, just extended 1 year while we negotiate. Nah, that's like saying, let's let the house burn for 1 more year while we shop around for hoses. Let somebody's house burn while they shop around for hoses. And when he got called out, Chuck Schumer, caught red-handed with no plan, no written proposal, nothing, vague sound bites. What did Chuck Schumer do, which is the minority leader, who basically is the leader when it comes to the Democratic caucus? He stormed out like a kid who got told to do homework and slammed his bedroom door because they can't defend the policy. They can't debate the facts. They only win when they control the conversation. And this ain't just about healthcare. It's about power. It's about leverage. But don't take my word for it. Check it out.
Have you put forward a proposal that we can read that you referenced in your speech, which says a clean continuing resolution with the extension of the ACA Biden COVID credits?
Yes, as we spoke yesterday.
So there is
I will not be interrupted.
No, my question is there a proposal in writing that we can read?
There is a proposal that is very simple. First, you haven't put your proposed ACA, fix to the ACA, the new one, which Leader Thune has spoken about on the floor, so we can't give you a counter in writing. But it's very simple, because we have two sentences we would add to any proposal, which would extend the ACA benefits for 1 year. That's all, plain and simple. And the leader can put that in his proposal on opening up the government. So it doesn't need a vote. It can't be blocked by anybody. It's the right thing to do.
It still have no income caps, so people who make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year?
As we said, if he would have listened to my speech yesterday, once we pass the 1 year fix, so people right now aren't in difficulty, we would sit and negotiate that. The leader has said he won't negotiate before. We're willing to negotiate once the credits are extended, plain and simple. And we made that in our proposal yesterday.
So for 1 year, people making millions of dollars would still receive these COVID-era subsidies?
The bottom line is the senator from Ohio ignores that 99% of people, you want to hurt people making $10,000, $50,000, $90,000 and hold this up? We can fix what the gentleman said in a negotiation, but don't have people who are every day being hurt by paying thousands of dollars more that they can't afford. I know that the senator from Ohio cares about the billionaires. We care about average working people. I yield the floor.
So just to be clear, Ms. President.
Just recognized.
So just to be clear, what you heard from the minority leader was the following. I just want to recap it for those of you who might have missed.
Bye-bye.
Number one, he acknowledged that the Democrats have actually not put forward a written proposal that people could look at. Number two, he acknowledged that his plan would be to allow millionaires, let me just say that clearly, people making millions of dollars would receive Biden-era COVID Obamacare subsidies. You heard that right. No income cap. I was going to ask him before he stormed out of the room, because evidently he doesn't want to hear any opposing views or actually engage in meaningful negotiation. He would have heard me ask the next question, Madam President, which is, would he continue $0 premiums, which we know for a fact have enormous levels of fraud? If he had stayed, I would have asked him a third question. Does he want these monies to go directly to insurance companies? Let me repeat that, Madam President, because I don't think the American people have been told the truth here. This money does not go to people on Obamacare. This is a check written from the federal government to the wealthiest insurance companies on the planet. He wants no income caps, millionaires getting COVID subsidies. He wants $0 premiums that are filled with fraud. And he wants to enrich insurance companies even more.
Well, there you have it, folks. And I want you guys to see Senator John Thune. I want you guys to see what John Thune had to say in regards of Obamacare.
The Democrat leader's proposal is a non-starter for the Republican majority. The Democrat leader wants to believe that this is a, quote, simple proposal, that it is some sort of compromise, but it is not. He's talking about throwing tens of billions more taxpayer dollars at a program that even Democrats admit has failed to lower health care costs. The American people are tired of Washington taking their hard-earned money and spending it on costly government programs that fail to follow through on their promises. Of course, that's what Democrats have been doing for years with Obamacare. They passed Obamacare 15 years ago without a single Republican vote. And in that time, Democrats' signature health care law has failed to do what Democrats promised. If you like your health insurance, you can keep it. Not true. If you like your doctor, you can keep him or her. Not true. Premium costs will go down, not true. And actually, the opposite is true. They keep going up. Obamacare drove premium prices higher. So in 2021, in the Democrats' American Rescue Plan Act, a bill best known for setting off a years-long inflation crisis, Democrats created these Biden bonuses, further papering over the higher premium costs under Obamacare with bigger taxpayer subsidies. Again, they did that without a single Republican vote. And then in another partisan bill in 2022, they extended the subsidies through the end of this year. Democrats chose the expiration date. They created this cliff. And now they want to blame Republicans for their mess. Give me a break, Mr. President. Republicans are not about to further burden taxpayers by blindly extending a flawed program. The Democrats' proposal is just more of the same, masking rising premiums and padding insurance companies' profits with more taxpayer dollars. The Democrat leader's proposal is a non-starter. There's still only one path out. It's a clean funding extension. The House has already passed a clean funding extension. The President supports one and would sign it into law immediately. We're only a handful of votes away from passing one right here in the Senate, Mr. President, a bill that has been sitting at the desk now for 38 days. We reopen, and then we can start talking about addressing the health care mess that Democrats created. Mr. President, I know that Democrats know this. Just yesterday, the Democrat whip came to the floor to say something that I've been waiting for a Democrat to say for a long time. He said that the first thing we need to do is reopen the government, then address the cost of health care and advance appropriations bills.
There you have it, folks. So that proves to you right there. Everybody was blaming the Republicans or Donald Trump. False. Not true. You saw Chuck Schumer, Democratic Party, leader of it, walk out. Because I told you, it's about power, it's about leverage. They're willing to shut down the government, the Democrat Party, and hold the entire country hostage just to keep a broken, overpriced healthcare law alive so they can use it as a campaign weapon. It's all about leverage against Trump. That's it. They don't care about the people, and they darn sure don't care about the truth. And if you need more proof, look at their behavior. I showed you it. Every time they get pressed for real questions, real data, they blow up. They get violent, unhinged, just like you saw with Nancy Pelosi back then when Trump was running for president, and Maxine Waters and Rashida and Raskin yelling at reporters, threatening people, losing their minds. It's like being in a cult, unfortunately. A straight up foaming at the mouth cult while they worship bureaucracy and hate the people they claim to represent. So yeah, I said what I said. They are parasitic, corrupt machine that feeds off your ignorance, us people, American people, ignorance. And we gotta wake up, man. And funds itself with American people tax dollars. But when are we, the American people, going to be on the right side of things and stop being quiet? We see through the game now. I broke it down for you. You can't gaslight us American people anymore. We got the receipts, we got the track record, and we got, people behind this. This ain't about the left or right. This is about right and wrong. That's what I care about. Simple as that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And don't forget to tell me where you're watching from. I'm curious. City, state, country, drop it all. If you already know, we're building a nation of common sense. One truth bomb at a time. So like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and let the peace supersede the hate. Love you guys. Catch you next one.